Hi everyone, today I'm going to cover the most recent 9th edition announcements and how they will affect Astra Militarum. I'm filming this video on Sunday the 21st of June, and this is a follow-up to another video I did about a week ago. You can check it out here. A bit about me: I cover everything Astra Militarum and release a video every week, so if you love Imperial Guard, please subscribe for more. Look out, sir! In the faction-focused article about the Adeptus Sororitas, a new rule is introduced which changes the targeting rules for characters. 9th edition will require characters to be within 3 inches of a friendly vehicle, monster or 3-mortar unit to not be targeted. This is a significant change and makes a lot of sense to me. No longer can a character benefit from not being targeted simply because another unit is close to the shooter regardless of their position. Simply illustrated, in 8th edition, the shooter on the left can't target the enemy character in the top right as the enemy infantry is closer. Or a more extreme example in 8th is the shooter still can't target the character in the top right despite the infantry being nowhere near the character, in fact on the other side of the shooter. In 9th edition, this would require the enemy infantry to be both the closest visible unit and also 3 inches from the character. Character positioning will need to be done more precisely than already is, and will really start to impact gameplay later on in the game when army lists have been thinned out by casualties. For us Astra Militarum generals, I don't think it'll affect us too much, given the majority of our characters are there to buff other units and are usually nestled safely behind infantry squads or tanks. On the flip side, our opponents will have to be particularly careful with their characters near a line of Leman Russ battle tanks or veteran plasma squad gunners. It'll be our job to spot these opportunities and blast characters off the board if they aren't abiding by the new rules. Overwatch overhaul. The mechanics of Overwatch will remain the same, requiring hit rolls of 6. However, will now cost you 1 command point and can only be used once per phase. This is a ginormous change that doesn't make much sense to me. It means only one of your units that is charged can fire Overwatch per phase. I know this is the 40th millennium and things are a bit different, but why on earth wouldn't every single unit that's been charged at shoot their enemy? Just imagine you're a guardsman in a squad of infantry, and you're being charged by a group of corn berserkers. You don't fire Overwatch because a moment ago a friendly squad of infantry fired at another charging squad of Chaos Space Marines. It clearly makes no sense from a realism point of view, however when understood from an overall 9th edition rule change point of view, it certainly does. In my other video I explored how tanks will now be able to shoot at enemy units within 1 inch, now called the engagement zone. I also looked at the new rules for blast weapons. That means when you target high model count units, you always get out a lot of shots, out of things like battle cannons or mortars for example. These new rules make things really hard for swarm style armies that focus on melee, like orcs or tyranids. But the restriction on Overwatch means that once you've fired your first round of Overwatch, that is it. So then onwards, every other unit that's charged is in for a really tough time. Using Overwatch will take a lot more careful thought. Would you use it on a 10-man infantry squad that's sitting on an objective? Or on your Leman Russ battle tank with a Punisher Gatling cannon that isn't on an objective? Likewise, will the Flamer and Heavy Flamer perhaps start to see a return to infantry squads and veteran squads, given their automatic hits? However, what this ultimately means for us Guard Commanders is we need to ensure that we're destroying as soon as possible any melee-focused units, denying them a chance of getting in close and potentially threatening us with a charge. Terrain rules and line of sight. There will be a renewed focus of the role of terrain in 9th edition. In 8th edition it seems either terrain is line of sight blocking, or giving you a +1 cover save if the entire unit is on the terrain piece. From what has been announced for 9th, each terrain piece will be assigned a number of traits that will impact how they interact with units. Example is given of what a set of ruins could be given. It could be given the traits of scalable, breachable, light cover, defensible, and obscuring. Details of the first haven't been shared, but light cover is detailed as giving a +1 saving throw against ranged weapons, so the same as 8th edition. Defensible means infantry can choose between hold steady, making Overwatch a 5+, or set to defend, giving +1 to hit rolls in the fight phase. These traits will mean the importance of terrain will increase significantly in 9th edition. It could turn pretty mediocre melee units into something pretty decent. You could have, for example, say a 10-man infantry squad, buffed by Minister and Priest with additional attacks. Set to defend, meaning their weapon skill is 3+, and if the terrain piece is defined as heavy cover, they get a +1 to saving throws if attacked by melee weapons, but only if not charged. Also detailed is the trait Obscuring. This explains that terrain pieces 5 inches or higher are complete line of sight blocking full stop. Example is given that you can no longer be able to draw a line of sight through a gap in a window and 3 consecutive windows to your target unit. This is great clarification and takes inspiration from the ITC rules format. It'll remove a lot of debate about different terrain pieces, although what does it mean for terrain pieces less than 5 inches high? I guess we'll have to find out a bit later. So for us Astra Militarum generals, it presents opportunity to turn our squishy infantry squads into units that can take full advantage of terrain pieces. The capture of terrain pieces early on in the game may start to become more important, with infantry squads hunkered down in ruins or bunkers receiving improved Overwatch or saving throws. Just picture using the order move, move, move to get a heavy weapon squad into a bunker early on. They could receive the +1 saving throw against range attacks, as it can be defined as light cover, and perhaps also the benefits of heavy cover, as the traits on terrain are stackable as agreed by you and your opponent. Cool-headed. And finally, a Crusade style of gameplay will be available. This will really enrich narrative style gameplay and reward units that have been fighting since the beginning of the Crusade. You'll be able to unlock new war gear or abilities, and one has been shared called Cool-headed. This will give the unit the ability to reroll failed morale tests and fight Overwatch hitting on a 5+ for free, which has been called out as being really rare. This gives a lot of opportunity to add some real storytelling to your army, although I'm not sure how you would track this, and what would prevent someone from being a bit cheeky and making up the battle honours of their units. Right, so there you have it, the latest announcements about 9th edition and how they're going to affect Astra Militarum. As I said, I've done another video which looks at the announcements from about a week ago. Check it out in the link below. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more videos about Astra Militarum, because I release videos every week about them. Thanks for watching, see you next time.